Chevrolet Master, 1934. The Chevrolet Master and Master Deluxe are American passenger vehicles manufactured by Chevrolet between 1933 and 1942 to replace the 1933 Master Eagle. It was the more precious model in the Chevrolet range at this time. Starting with this generation, all GM buses participated in commercial appearance as a result of the art and color section headed by Harley Earl. This was the last Chevrolet that was exported to Japan in knockdown accoutrements and assembled at the company's plant in Osaka, Japan, before the plant was appropriated by the Imperial Japanese government. When Toyota decided to develop their own hydrofoil, called the Toyota AA, a locally manufactured Master was disassembled and examined to determine how Toyota should wangle their own buses. The Series DA Master offered an increased wheelbase of 112 inches (2.8 meters). This increased the difference with the cheaper standard wheelbase to 5 inches (127 millimeters). Powered by an upgraded interpretation of the 206 cubic inches or 3.38 cubic centimeters Steve Bolt 6-cylinder machine, now producing 80 horsepower or 60 kilowatt. The independent frontal suspense was commodity GM, called knee action using running arms and coil springs. The price of this auto is $33,000. Pontiac C6, 1935. The Pontiac C6 was a more affordable interpretation of its precursor Oakland 6 that was introduced in 1926, vended through Oakland dealerships. Pontiac was the first of General Motors' companion-make program where brands were introduced to fill in pricing gaps that had developed between Cadillac, Buick, Oldsmobile, Oakland, and Chevrolet. The original marketing approach began when GM was incorporated in 1908, was to offer a range of vehicles in colorful body styles, grounded on affordable to extravagant, and the client base would gradationally trade up every many times to the coming scale brand. Pontiac was introduced as an affordable Oakland, followed by LaSalle for Cadillac, Marquette for Buick, and Viking for Oldsmobile. The 1926 Pontiac C6 was first introduced as a Series 6-27 using Fisher body coachwork, and only offered a 2-door 2-passenger coupe or 5-passenger coach. It was first introduced January 3, 1926, while manufacture at the Oakland factory in Pontiac, Michigan began December 28, 1925, and introduced the Pontiac Straight 6 machine split flathead, which was designed by Henry M. Crane. As this was an entry position vehicle, options were limited to a front and hinder cushion, hinder-mounted spare tire, and a heater for the passenger coupe. The coach came painted in sage green with fairy red striping, while the coupe had landau bars on the roof and was painted in Arizona gray, while both came with black buffers. Mid-year changes were introduced in August, adding 3 further coachwork choices. While the coupe was available in blue with the red stripe, the trainer was available in blue or Argentine with an orange stripe. Lux models could be distinguished by having both the cushion and body in one color. When the model time had finished, 76,742 buses had been manufactured. The price of this auto is $13,600. Dodge D5, 1937. The Dodge Series D5 appeared in October 1936 for the 1937 model time, replacing the former Times Series D2, also known as the Dodge Beauty Winner. The D5 did not differ particularly from its precursor, continuing to use the same 218 cubic inches or 3.6 liters, 87 horsepower or 65 kilowatt flathead straight 6 machine, single-slice dry plate clutch, and 3-speed primer transmission. A vacuum-operated semi-automatic system was an available option. The body was smoothly facelifted with a modified split tulle, larger headlamps, and with cornucopias moved behind the tulle rather than being mounted conspicuously on the cushion aprons. A chrome strip continued the length of the auto. On the inside, the dashboard had adjoined cloths and flush befitting needles, as well as safety padding on the frontal seat backs and no hitch interior door handles. The hypoid hinder axle was also new and met a lower transmission layer as well as a flat bottom at the reverse of the auto. In October 1937, the D5 was replaced by the series D8, while the junior line models for import and the Canadian request were badged D9 and D10 for 1938. 295,000 Dodge D5s were erected in the timetable time. The price of this auto is $29,000. Plymouth Special Deluxe 1941. The Plymouth Deluxe and Special Deluxe were full-sized motorcars which were produced by American manufacturer Plymouth during the 1933–42 and 1946–50 model times. The Plymouth Deluxe Model PD appeared in 1933, shortly after the Plymouth C6 Model PC, which was the company's first six-cylinder machine, but offered a 107 inches (2.7 meters) wheelbase versus 112 for the Deluxe. It was an upmarket variation to the Plymouth C6 1933–1934, Business C6 1935–1938, and Road King 1938–1940. In 1941, the Road King name was dropped for the low trim Plymouth, which were obtained as P11 and not renewed in 1942, making the Deluxe the entry position. Between 1941 and 1950, the Deluxe was offered in two neat situations: the Deluxe and the top-of-the-line Special Deluxe. The machine in 1946 was a 95 horsepower, 71 kilowatt, 217.8 cubic inches or 3.6 liters Plymouth Straight 6. In 1949, this machine was upgraded to produce 97 horsepower, 72 kilowatt. The price of this auto is $29,700. Chevrolet Fleetline Aero Sedan 1942. The Chevrolet Special Deluxe Series AH Fleetline was a machine produced by US automaker Chevrolet from 1941 to 1952. The Fleetline was introduced late in the 1941 model time as a four-door hydrofoil only. In 1942, a fastback two-door Aero sedan was also offered, while the hydrofoil was renamed Sportmaster. In 1947, the Fleetline made up 71.26% of Chevrolet's deals. For the times 1949 through 1952 models, the fastback was the only one offered, and Chevrolet dropped the Fleetline for 1953. Product was indefinitely delayed in 1942 due to World War II, after 110,000 had been made, though several thousand Chevrolet coupes and cruisers were produced during the war times for military staff use. In 1945, product for civilians proceeded. The original series was produced through 1948. A redesigned Fleetline with reduced body figure and integrated hinder buffers was offered for the 1949 through 1952 model times. It was obtained too as a fastback because of its distinct linen roof, which extends through to the box lid. The Fleetline during the 1949 to 1950 times also has a lower look than a hydrofoil, with the windshield being 1 inch shorter in height than a standard contemporary hydrofoil. The 1949 to 1951 models were made in both 4-door and 2-door models, with only the lower portion of the doors being exchangeable with a hydrofoil door. The Fleetline series is presently largely collectible. Numerous are made into road roads, with the common Chevrolet 350 small block V8 and the 350 or 400 turbo transmission being used. The price of this auto is $12,200. Studebaker Champion 1947. The Studebaker Champion is a machine which was produced by the Studebaker Corporation of South Bend, Indiana, from the morning of the 1939 model time until 1958. It was a full-size auto in its first 3 generations and a mid-size auto in its 4th and 5th generation models, serving as the inferior model to the Commander. The success of the Champion in 1939 was imperative to Studebaker's survival, following weak deals during the 1938 model time. Unlike Atmos other buses, the Champion was designed from a clean distance and had no restrictions caused by inescapably exercising H corridor or taking the posterior use of its factors in heavier vehicles. Request exploration guided the selection of features, but a crucial principle stuck to what the engineering watchword "weight is the adversary." For its size, it was one of the lightest buses of its period. Its compact straight-six machine outlived the model itself and was produced to the end of the 1964 model time, with a change to an OHV design in 1961. The auto's ponton styling was penned by artificial developer Raymond Loewy, who had been under contract with Studebaker for the design of their motorcars. Title holders won Moby Gas Frugality runs by posting the loftiest energy effectiveness tests. The champion was phased out in 1958 in medication for the preface of the 1959 Studebaker Luck. Prior to this, Studebaker had been placed under receivership and the company was trying to return to a profitable position. The price of this auto is $13,800. Write down which car you like best. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.